we start to listen, and we hear creaking, we hear movement, we hear footsteps coming from the balcony that connects us to the rest of the building. We went to the Laborde house first. We went to drop off our stuff, to check in, meet the staff. They were really nice. They were alive, so that was a nice touch.
As soon as we got there, we could immediately tell that this was like a space from a different era, from a different time.
You guys, there is nothing scarier than the law. Ooh. I don't know, check.
I don't want to.
Do it.
No! Okay, I'm not gonna. We're not gonna open the shower. No, I don't want to.
We did a quick walkthrough of everything we had access to. We stayed in one of the 3 most active rooms. The other 2 rooms had us pretty much in a corner. So straight across from us was the Ringgold room, where 2 children were said to have fallen. They were staying in that room and they fell off the balcony and into a well and they died. And across the balcony that connected us to the rest of the building was the red room, where a young woman took her life. There were some issues with, some people say sex work, some people say an affair with a married person, but she took her life in that room. So 3 most active rooms, and we're staying the night there.
But then we figured out in that process that the memory card that I had just emptied out before we had left, that memory card was full again.
Hey guys, no, so we're about to go try to film in here. This will be the 3rd attempt. We keep having like technical issues. Don't know why, I don't know what's happening, but our SD card that we've been emptying twice now keeps getting full for no reason. So is it ghosts? Is it IT? I don't know.
So we emptied out the card again, and then we put it back into the camera. We go back to shoot, and like we didn't even get to shoot, and again we got the same message that the memory card was full. And so this is when the things kind of started messing with our equipment.
It was nightfall by that time. We did stop by Whataburger on the way.
And at this point, I was honestly stalling. Like, it was nighttime, and at this point, we had only been in the hotel during the day, and I was like genuinely getting nervous.
It felt a lot different now that it was after hours, that it was dark. It was like, it had a different feeling to it.
We went to our room to charge all of our stuff and start our nighttime walkthrough, and that's when it all started.
What I'm doing? That's not funny.
Okay, we're ready to head out, right?
Yeah.
All right, it's nighttime. We're stepping out into the hotel for the first time at night since we got back from dinner and recharging, so.
And it was 11 p.m. and I think we had made the agreement that like, okay, around 11 p.m. we're gonna want to go and explore all this, and I was like, yeah, I don't really want to go, but like, we did agree on around this time, so.
So we started off in the parlor.
Control the lights with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should leave them off.
Go for it.
Oh my god, no. Oh my god, no.
It felt really different. The silence, it was like the silence that was very overwhelming and ominous, and it was like very weird and creepy. And the mirror, and there was a painting on the wall that looked a lot creepier in the dark and after hours than it looked during the daytime. and the baby, just the baby right there looking at us.
I don't know what, there's a baby bassinet there, and I don't know why the owners of the hotel decided to really emphasize that, like, this is a baby's bassinet, and we'll bring that point across by putting a baby doll in the bassinet, and it just made it like extra creepy.
So what do we want to do in here? Do we want to try anything?
We can try to record. Let me set my voice recorder going.
And she said this couch we could sit on, right?
Yeah, this couch by the window.
So let's go ahead and do that.
And
Yeah, this is a fairly hot building. Surprisingly, there is, like we said, a bar across the street. So
Bodak Yellow was playing earlier. It was
we're
lit.
getting our full life before we came to experience the afterlife. So we kind of just sat in there for a few minutes in silence. We asked some questions. We were waiting for some responses. If anyone is here, know that we are here and we come from a place of
Love and respect,
curiosity and adventure. We're not here to piss anyone off. We're not here to challenge anything or antagonize anyone. You know, we just want to see what this is about. We've heard a lot of things about this. And obviously, if we didn't think that this was fun, we wouldn't be here. So we'll open with that. We extend a figurative hand, and we welcome you to communicate with us in safe ways, please. And we look forward to spending this night in your place because we recognize that we're in your space.
Yes, we are guests. We will not sit on any of the furniture we're not supposed to.
Yes, this is the only furniture we can sit on, and then in our room.
Yes.
So with that being said,
Okay. Wait, why are we gonna let me talk to him?
you had a question.
Oh, just to show us a sign.
So we had made a deal amongst ourselves that we were not going to antagonize the room, like anybody in the hotel. We were only going to speak to whatever was in the hotel in the same terms that we would speak to our friends, which is like very respectful, acknowledging that we were guests.
But yeah, it was calm downstairs. I wish I could say the same for upstairs, which is where we went next. There was a few rooms up there, but the three that we were most interested in were the one that we were staying in, which is the Texian. A lot of activity was reported there. Near us was the Ringgold, like I mentioned earlier, where the two children that were staying in there that passed away. And also near us was the Red Room, where the young woman took her life.
And then that's when Adrian's camera's battery was just like, bye.
So I said, okay, I have a phone, I'll use that.
And then that's when my phone just completely disconnected from the internet. And this was after I'd made the joke about the Wi-Fi.
I wonder if, like, in the future, ghosts, like, future ghosts us are gonna be like, the Wi-Fi is out, and like we're just gonna.
I don't know what happened, but at this point I was like, ugh.
So right now we are in the room that we actually rented for the night, which is the Texian. The reason, so we were renting the room, like when I called the hotel to be like, I want to stay here, they asked us what, and we decided on the Texian because it's supposed to be one of the most active rooms. People report things like cold spots. They report hearing voices.
This room is also next door to the Ringgold room, which is a room where the children who died were supposed to have stayed in.
Truth be told, like, we were obviously trying to have fun with this, so we were gonna do a bit that involved a hot Cheeto, of course. And as we were doing the bit, Erica was supposed to say, "Oh, did you guys hear that?" And I was gonna like crunch on a Cheeto.
I guess we can start asking questions. Did y'all hear that? I guess we can start asking questions. Did y'all hear that?
I'm sorry.
No! Oh my god.
So we're doing the bit, and Erica says, "Did you hear that?" And I go with the bit because it's what we planned.
In the process of doing that bit, like I actually heard something like out where there was not supposed to be noise. And so when I asked like, "Did y'all hear that?" Like that was me genuinely being like, "Did y'all hear that?" You're okay.
What?
Not the time for hot Cheetos.
I eat when I get nervous.
Oh my god.
And she's like, "No, really, did you hear that?" And I keep going with the bit, and she's like, "No, really."
No, but I also heard a crunch. But I also heard something over there. Like I'm not.
Really, I'm scared.
No.
I locked the door.
Did you?
Yes.
No, like I heard something that way. I'm really nervous.
Okay, that's.
Don't leave me! No, you come back.
What do you want me to do? I'm nervous. I'm very nervous.
I'm very nervous.
So I freak out a little bit because I don't know what's happening. And we start to listen, and we hear creaking, we hear movement, we hear footsteps coming from the balcony that connects us to the rest of the building.
Now, there was a bar across the street and they had music going and there was people there, but it was very distinct as to what direction the noises were coming from, and the noises we were hearing sounded like footsteps, and they sounded like footsteps coming from the direction of the rooms that were the most active.
We had like a come to Jesus moment with each other, and we said, we don't want to do this, but we made a promise to our Neta family, to our viewers, that we were going to do this for them. In the spirit of curiosity and adventure, we were going to do this. The woman in the red room is said to walk around and roam the building at night. So we stayed in our room for like an hour because we were scared to go out.
We went back under the condition that we would not be turning off any of the lights anymore. Like, we're gonna leave the lights on, and we would not be in the rooms by ourselves. Like, we had, but prior to that, agreed that like at one point we would separate, but we were like, no, we're not separating at all.
Finally, we ended up going to the Ringgold room. That was the room where these two children were playing in the balcony and then ended up falling to a well outside, and they ended up drowning in that well.
Eddie and I actually sat. Listen, I don't know if they did this as a design choice after they remodeled, if this was like initially something that was there, but that Ringgold room where two children that died were staying in, there was 2 twin beds in there.
Now, it's said that like you can hear kids crying in there, and then you can also just hear kids all throughout the hotel.
We thought it'd be a neat idea for Eddie and I to sit in each of those beds.
Me and Aiden ended up lying on these twin beds parallel to one another. So and me and Aiden were asking the spirits different questions, trying to get a response.
So, do we know how old these children were that passed away?
No.
We just know they were children.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah. To the 2 kiddos that lost their lives here. First, we're sorry that happened to you. I'm sure it was scary, and we heard sometimes that people hear you crying at night.
we just want you to know that, you know, there's no need to be scared. No one's mad at you for what happened to you. If anything, people are more worried for you. They just want to make sure that you are okay wherever you're at right now. So, and we want you to know that too, that we are kind of adults. We were your age once, I'm sure, so yeah, if you feel like you have anything to tell us, we're gonna be here for a bit, okay?
And we, again, are trying to be respectful. Adrian's talking to it, but I'm noticing the whole time Adrian's talking that like the fan outside or something outside is like making a noise. And as soon as Adrian stops talking, the noise stops.
That every time I was asking a question, the fans in the hallway, they're like old fans and they're rickety. So the fans would shake as I was talking. And then when I finished asking my question, it would get silent.
And I wanted to point it out, but I also did not want to creep myself out. So I just kind of like said nothing.
So this morning when we were doing another walkthrough with one of the staff members, we were listening for the fans and they were like quiet and they were on and quiet. So I'm not sure if the fans moving was in response to us while we were asking the children questions, but that happened. Okay.
And finally, the big one, the one that had caused us the most alarm, the most worry, was the red room.
We go to the red room, we walk up to the door, and earlier when we went to the red room, we were doing the walkthrough, Erika and Eddie were maybe like 3 steps ahead of me and I was filming behind them. I felt so uncomfortable in that room that I didn't even bother to like try and close the door all the way. I just kind of pulled it behind me and I walked out. And I was gonna tell them, hey, this door is probably gonna be open because I didn't close it all the way. I was scared earlier, so I didn't like pay attention to it because I didn't want to be in there.
At this point, like I'm freaking out because this is the room where one of the daughters of the hotel, it said, it's been said that she hung herself in that room.
I ended up leading the way, so I tried to open it and it wouldn't open. I just kept moving the doorknob to the right, to the left. I put all my weight up against the door several times and I was trying really hard to open the door and I just couldn't open it.
It's locked, it won't move.
At first I genuinely thought he was kidding, but like you can see like Eddie was like trying to push it and he turns to me and he's like, do you want to try? I'm like, no, I don't.
I don't know what happened between our first walkthrough where that door was open, unlocked, and I don't remember closing it at all, to it's nighttime, we're trying to get in there and something's not letting us in.
Like I'm really trying.
Okay,
Let's go back.
okay, I just want to clarify while we're here.
This is a room that we were in earlier. When staff left us here.
It's so weird.
And now the door is not opening.
We're alone. We were alone in that building for the whole day.
We couldn't think of any logical reason why it would be locked then at that point because nobody had locked it, everybody had left.
And I just knew that like that door being locked was some sort of sign that we just should not be in there. And so I'm like, whatever is in that room does not want us to be in there. And so we're just gonna like not. Because we really could have access to it from the balcony, but at this point, like, we were just like, nope, we're done. The ghosts are done with us, we're done with them.
So we called it a night. We went back to our room. We were at a loss for words.
Right, so. Final thoughts of the night, y'all?
The Laborde house is no joke.
So this last walkthrough in those 2 rooms was a lot less eventful than I anticipated. Thankfully, though, you can just feel it. Like, it's so strange.
We had a view of the red room from one of our windows. So obviously none of us looked out that window.
Like, I keep getting waves of chills. So thanks for coming on this journey with us. We hope that you all enjoyed it. I feel like a lot of what we felt might not translate over video.
At that point, like, we were just all kind of looking at each other like, because we realized that it wasn't even like 3 in the morning yet, and we still had to spend the rest of the night in the hotel.
My body's sore, I'm tired, I'm still scared. I'm about to do a cleanse for us. If Neta is willing to pay me double, triple, I will go back for half the time.
You would have to wipe out my student loans and give me like 3 puppies, and I probably still wouldn't.
The Laborde house was, it was anything but laboring. We were scared, shook, if anything. So if you're daring enough, if you're brave enough, go check it out. I'm not sure what will translate over into film, but I can tell you the feelings there, like, it's unlike anything I've ever felt before.